So I sat down and I just started typing this thing out.
Yeah.
And it was like funny, and it was like had nothing to do with anything. We sent it out, and that email made me over $100,000 in sales.
Hey, podcast listener, you're about to discover insider tips, tricks, and secrets to making more sales and converting more prospects into customers with email marketing. For more information about the Email Marketing Podcast or the Autoresponder Guy, go to dropdeadcopy.com/podcast. Hey, it's John McIntyre here, the Autoresponder Guy, and it's time for episode 74 of the McMethod Email Marketing Podcast, where you'll discover one simple thing: how to make money every time you send an email to your list. Pretty cool stuff. Now today, I'll be talking to Mr. Russell Brunson. Russell is one of the most accomplished info marketers around on the planet. He's sold millions and millions of dollars of his own products. He's helped clients do the same. I just bought his book actually on, what's it called? I'm looking at the shelf right now. It's like 101 split tests, and it's got some great ideas in there for testing if you want to, ideas for split testing. Anyway, today we're going to talk about how Russell, right, how he builds and manages a multi-million-dollar email list. So how does he use his email list in his business to create basically a crap ton of money, or a crap ton of profit and revenue and sales and all that stuff that we all want? So that is today. We're going to get into that in just a minute. Now, to get the show notes for this episode of the Email Marketing Podcast, go to themcmethod.com/74. Now, this week's McMasters Insight of the Week is a special one, and I'm not sure if I've mentioned this before, but the insight's basically this: email is just one piece of the puzzle. There's one thing I've realized over the last 3 to 6 months. It's that sometimes it's easy to think that, well, email, you've heard about it from me, from Andre Chaperon, from Ben Settle, from any of these big email marketers out there, or sometimes just a marketer, someone who's told you about it, and you're like, wow, email is going to change my business. And unfortunately, it's probably not going to change it. It's not going to revolutionize it. It's not going to make you a millionaire just because you start using email, right? Email is just one piece of the puzzle, right? In business, you need traffic, you need a conversion process, and then you need sort of an economic process where you make people buy a lot of stuff, spend a lot of money with you. Now, email falls under that conversion banner. It's really just one step in that conversion process, another tool in your arsenal, another weapon you can use to make someone buy your stuff, okay? So instead of just thinking, well, email is going to save me and email is going to make everything better, you really got to have the mindset where you think, well, within my business right now, within everything, all the different things I could do, everything on my to-do list, everything that's not on the to-do list, where can I make the biggest impact? You've got a big-ass wall in front of you, and there's one spot on that wall that if you tap softly, the whole wall will come crashing down. But if you tap it anywhere else, the wall's like it's a wall of steel. There's no way you're getting through it. Okay, so you have to be a bit of an engineer and think, well, is email really the biggest area of improvement right now? And if not, what is? And then go work on that. Okay. Now we've been talking about this in McMasters a little bit, and now McMasters is my private training community. There's training products in there on how to write emails, how to create pages that convert, how to basically build a sales funnel that's really converting well. And what I'm really excited about today is I've just added 10 fill-in-the-blank templates. Now these templates are based on the story selling, the story-based story selling format that I use on my own list. And what I've started to do is I've taken these ideas and the method that I teach and created some templates that you can use. You sign up and you basically take the template, you literally fill in the blanks, then you add it to your autoresponder software and you send it out. So the idea is that someone can sign up and have, say, a 5 or a 10 email sequence on the first day. You don't even need to learn how to write emails. You don't even have to struggle with writer's block. You don't have to do any training at all. You can just fill in some blanks, and maybe some of the people who are in there have tweaked them a little bit to sort of fit their audience more. But, I know for a fact, like, I'm a copywriter, and even I would much rather have a template that I can work off than be starting from scratch. Because even if you do tweak it, it's just so much easier. There's way less creative energy and creative power needed. So anyway, I wanted to mention that those templates are inside McMasters. To learn more about McMasters, just go to themcmethod.com/McMasters. That's the sales page. That'll give you all the information you need on whether you should sign up or not. Anyway, that's enough for now. Let's get into this little interview conversation with Mr. Russell Brunson. It's John McIntyre here, the Autoresponder Guy. I'm here with Russell Brunson. Russell's one of the most accomplished info marketers around online. He's sold millions and millions of his own products. And he actually just put out a recent book, which I've got right here in front of me, called 108 Proven Split Test Winners. And he sent it out all the way to Thailand, which is pretty cool. He's got .com Secrets, which their goal is to help 100,000 people earn their first $100 online. He had some other cool goals going on too. And Success ECT, or Success Etc. I'm not sure how to say it, but they want to help make the world more healthy, wealthy, and wise, which is pretty cool. How's it going, Russell?
It's going awesome, man. Great to be here with you.
Yeah, good to have you on, man. Before we get into sort of the content, tell the listener, I've kind of given them a little bit of a background on who you are. Some people might have heard about you anyway, but for someone who hasn't, give the listener a bit more background on who is Russell Brunson and what does he do?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, my name is Russell Brunson, and I look like I'm probably 11 or 12 years old, so everybody tells me. But I've actually been doing this game for a long time. I've had my online business for over a decade now, over 10 years, which is just crazy. I feel like a dinosaur in the internet years. But I've been doing this for a long time, and because of that, we've had a chance to test out and try a lot of things in a lot of different markets. We've found a lot of stuff that works really good and a lot of things that don't work good. But I'm super passionate about business and about marketing and about the testing. Like you said, our most recent product is our 108 split test book, which is 4 or 5 of the markets we're in. We do a lot of heavy split testing, and so we kind of just shared all of our results and gave it away for free. And it's been a ton of fun. And yeah, that's kind of, I'm probably one of the biggest marketing nerds you'll ever meet. I buy every book, every course, half to go through their sales process and half to see what I can get from the information. Prior to my marketing world, I was a wrestler. That's kind of my passion. It was wrestling forever. Now I do more jujitsu because it's like wrestling for old fat guys. It's kind of nice. You don't have to work nearly as hard as wrestling. But you still get kind of that rush. And I got a wife and 4 kids, and life's awesome.
Nice, man. You're in Boise, Idaho, right?
Yep, living in Boise.
Okay, I got a friend from out there. Have you ever been to Thailand? There's tons of like Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu. A couple of friends do it.
No, I've never actually been there. But one of our old employees actually was a Muay Thai fighter from Thailand, and so we had 2 or 3 years we hung out a lot with him, but I've never made it out there. I really would love to. It'd be fun.
You should come check it out, man. It's a good place. Anyway, let's talk about some of the content. One thing I brought up was you've got a podcast on daily Seinfeld emails, and you talked about an epiphany on email marketing. So let's sort of dive into that and see what we can, what sort of fun we can have. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so we've been doing email marketing forever, right? Like that's I was lucky. My very first mentor was a guy named Mark Joyner. Some of you guys may have heard of him. He owns a company now called Simpleology. And I'm grateful that he was my first mentor, because a lot of mentors teach different things, but he like drilled in my head, like build a list, like that's all he preached. And so for me, that was like, that's all that matters. So I focused my first 3 or 4 years 100% on building a list, and it served me ever since. And so big into list building, and then try to figure out like what's the best way to monetize your list, but keep them happy? And, like kind of that balance, like how do you do that? And I've had times in my business where I've totally screwed it up and I've killed my list. I've had times where I've had to, go back and rebuild it because of that. I've had times that were awesome. And so it's kind of interesting. Like you may have had both these guys on your show. I'm not positive if you have or not, but there are 2 kind of guys I started really looking at. It was interesting. They had very conflicting beliefs on how to do email marketing. One of them was Andre Chaperone. Yeah. And Andre's whole thought process is these soap opera sequences, right? Somebody comes in and you have this 5, 10, 20, and he's got like 80-day like soap opera sequence email series. And I don't know how he does it, but that are weaving together these storylines and sucking you in. And then he's like a sniper, and all of a sudden he'll introduce this offer after 80 emails, and everybody buys because they're so connected, right? And so there's that whole school of thought. And I thought, oh, that's really cool. I like that. But then I met this guy named Ben Settle, and I don't know if you've had Ben on your show or not, but Ben just sends out a daily email every single day, and they're all over the place. And I was on his list and stuff, and it was funny because at first I was this is really cool. And after a while, his emails started I was getting emotionally charged by his emails. I remember a couple of days I'd wake up and I'd read these, I'd get so angry by these emails, and I was just so frustrated. I was I can't stand this guy. I don't like the way he does his marketing, doesn't like anything. And then one day it was literally 6 a.m. I was on my phone in my bed reading one of his emails, and I was so upset, and I stopped and I was whoa, look at the reaction he's getting out of me. This is amazing. I haven't had, every single morning I'm reading his email first. Every day I'm getting frustrated or annoyed or whatever. I'm having these emotional impact that's sucking me in and making me keep reading, right? And I was wow, there's something to this. I need to step back and pull my emotion out of it and look at what he's doing. And I started watching, and I think that's one of the big takeaways for anyone is a lot of times is look at what people are doing, not what they're saying. And that's kind of those times I stepped back and I started watching him, and that's when I gained a really big respect for him, and I've become friends with him since. But just realizing his model. And so his model is kind of I can't remember if he told me this or if I just kind of, I don't remember what, but his model is kind of like a daily Seinfeld email. And you look at the difference, right? So you got soap operas, which if you look at a soap opera, it's a multi-email sequence that's dragging people from thing to thing to thing, and it's a soap opera, right? Then you look at the TV show Seinfeld. What's the difference? Seinfeld's like these shows that each show's kind of its own standalone episode. And if you watch the episodes where Jerry was trying to actually pitch a show on NBC or whatever, right? And there was a show called Jerry, and they're like, "What's the show going to be about?" And they're like, "It's a show about nothing." And they're like, "Well, why would anyone watch a show about nothing?" They're like, "Well, it's just because it's there, it's on TV," and like this whole big thing, right? And obviously the irony of it was that Seinfeld was a show literally about nothing. Like if you ask them like, "What's the Seinfeld about?" They're like, "I don't know, people just hanging out," right? Yep. But it's like the greatest sitcom of all time. Right? It's been off the air for like 20 years, and people still watch it every single night because of what it was, right? And really, like the daily Seinfeld emails, the power of them is very similar. It's emails you're sending out that don't really have much to do about anything. They're more just kind of like telling a story. It's more like entertainment, right? Telling a story about what's happening and then from there somehow tying it back into your product or your service. And so after I met Ben and he kind of walked me through some psychology about what he was doing and, why I was getting so emotionally charged by his emails, he was like, it's very much just like thinking each day, like what's something that happened in my life it's exciting or dumb or funny or annoying or whatever. And then you just kind of write this email about it. And again, the email has nothing to do with anything. They're just kind of these random emails. And then somehow at the end you have to tie it back into your product, right? And so for me, I'm gonna kind of walk through my psychology really quick, and then I'll dig deeper into actually Seinfeld. So for me, like if you look at our businesses now, the way we do it is when somebody first joins our list, at that point they don't really know who I am, or some of our businesses, I'm not the guru, but they don't know who the attractive character, who the guru is, right? And so I think that the best way to do that and to build that initial bond with your audience is through the soap opera sequence. And so typically someone joins our list and they go through anywhere from like a 3 to a 10-day email sequence. It's kind of like a soap opera. I can't write the 80-day ones that Andre does, but they're shorter and they kind of like they very quickly build a relationship with the attractive character, because that's like the key, because otherwise in the future they're not going to open your emails, they're not going to buy your stuff. They've got to have that relationship.
Right. So before, because this is something I was talking to a client about today, is how when someone signs up to the list, if they got no idea who you are, before they're going to buy anything, they've got to know who you are. So you sort of got, Ryan D scores like an indoctrination sequence, where the goal of that, you're saying 12 emails, is to literally just indoctrinate them so they think that you're awesome. So that's what you're talking about, right? You're telling them a story about who you are that positions you as the authority, that you as the trustworthy guy or girl, so on.
Exactly. Yep. Because you gotta have that, especially because like when you're driving traffic, you're taking through a squeeze page. Usually, it's kind of blind. It's something to increase conversions, right? But after you've got them in, now it's like now you got to warm them up, and it's got to be pure relationship. I don't know if your listeners or you've tried, like if you do a landing page that's all like you focused and you start driving cold traffic to it, it doesn't convert at all. It's really frustrating actually. But you go and do one that's very like blind, that kind of thing, you get them in, but then it's hard to keep those people around just because like they don't know who you are. And so it's key for me is like that first 3 to 5 days, we're building this awesome relationship. Then after that, after we built soap opera and we've got that relationship with them, then I transition to what we call internally here our daily Seinfeld emails. And I can read you one or two of them if you want to hear them, because the very first one I sent out, it was totally like, it was one of those days where like all this stuff was happening and it was frustrating, and we had a sales call that went bad, and it was, I'd upset, all these things were happening, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to write a Ben Settle style email, like a Seinfeld style email. So I sat down and I just started typing this thing out, and it was like funny, and it was like, had nothing to do with anything. We sent it out, and that email made me over $100,000 in sales, and I was like, I should do this more often. And so anyway, do you want me to read you that email? Because that email is my favorite one I've done so far. All right. So the subject line said, "True story, he flushed $20 million down the toilet today." So that's what went out. And then here's the copy. So it said, "So yesterday we had a guy who applied for my Inner Circle program. I saw his app come through, and I was actually really excited because he's in the golf market. Now, I'm no golfer, but I've got a lot of friends doing $20 million plus in the golf market online. I saw his product and I knew it was a home run. So the coach who was going to call him back asked for my opinion on his business before she called him. I sat down with her for 10 minutes and pulled up first his 3 major competitors. Second, I showed her every site that they were successfully buying traffic from. Third, I showed her the top 3 converting ads for each of his competitors. Fourth, I showed her the sales funnels that were converting and the main reason why his was not. I then showed her the 2 media buyers I would use if I were in the golf market, both of who can send over thousands of sales a day consistently. And armed with this information, she called the guy up. Now, he was a little cocky, and rightfully so. He'd sold over 100,000 units of his product on TV, yet for some reason he couldn't figure out this pesky little internet thing. So she started sharing with him some of my ideas, and then he stopped her. Look, I've read 20 books on internet marketing, and there isn't a single thing that Russell could teach me that I don't already know. So she tried to explain, look, you could read a million books on jiu-jitsu, but that's not going to help you in a street fight. Now, I thought that was pretty funny, but what happened next was just sad. He said, well, Russell doesn't know anything about golf, and then he hung up on her. Now, while he was right about me not knowing anything about golf, I know everything about selling golf stuff online. I've been doing this now for over 10 years, and I've personally trained over 2,500 companies in my offices here in Boise in those 10 years. I've worked with a lot of golf guys and even one golf gal. Now, I've worked with people in just about every market I can think of except for bowling. I've never had someone teach bowling come to me, which makes me sad because bowling is my third favorite sport behind wrestling, number one, and jiu-jitsu, number two. Anyway, so you notice how this email is just like, I'm just talking about stupid things, right? So anyway, for anything else I can think of, I've helped them map out a funnel, show them what they were doing wrong, introduce them to my media buyers, show them what sites to buy their ads on, and what they should be spending to acquire a customer in their specific market. I then usually intro them to the gurus I know in those areas. After speaking on Dan Kennedy's stages for over 6 years, I got to meet most of the gurus in most industries, and it makes it easy to find connections for those people. Those are the things you can't learn in a book. Those are the things to bring to the table for my inner circle people. My goal for them is not to teach them more stuff, it's to make them more money. Anyway, if you got a golf product, let me know because I've got a killer $20 million a year blueprint that this dude just flushed down the toilet because of his arrogance or his ignorance. Either way, he lost out. So you can just plug in and run with it. Or if you sell, well, anything else, I'd love to help you out with that. Our next Inner Circle meeting is here in Boise in May. If you'd like to come, you got to act fast. You can apply here. Boom. And then, we only accept cool people. If you like to flush money down the toilet, please don't apply. Thanks, Russell Brunson. Sent that out. We got like 100 and something applications. And from that, we signed up 4 people for our Inner Circle at $25,000 a pop. So I was just like, that was like so much fun. And it was just me kind of ranting about just telling this random story and somehow tying it back into what we're doing, right?
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I've seen that. Like I was playing around with the Andre stuff about year and a half ago. And it works. It goes well. But it wasn't until then I stumbled upon Ben Settle, similar kind of story. Started using that. And that was when everything sort of took off. Like the whole people started listening. People started responding to the emails. And it was quite incredible to watch. And since then, that's pretty much all I do. Every email is like a self-contained, Seinfeld episode where it's a random, it's not even a story. Like sometimes you can just have a rant about, I told a story once about how I almost got arrested here in Thailand one day while driving, or another one how I think I went mountain biking one day and crashed into a tree. I think I was in a subway. Just like the most random stuff, and it's blown me away how you take anything.
That's the stuff that gets people to move, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true because think about people are bored out of their minds. Like life is kind of boring. That's why people love Facebook. They sit there for literally hours. Every night they go to bed, before they go to bed, they scroll for 20 minutes through Facebook trying to find something to entertain them for 5 seconds so they can go to bed.
Yeah.
That's the world we live in right now, right? And so, I think one of my big epiphanies, and I think that was the premise of that podcast you're talking about, was just it's less like teaching and training and more just entertaining. That's what people are looking for, and they'll buy if you entertain them, they will buy from you.
Yeah, it's kind of like people want the education, the training. There's thousands of blogs out there on every topic. The training's not hard to find, but the entertainment is because most people can't deliver. I mean, you can still teach someone in an email when you tell a story or just have an anecdote or a random whatever. You can still teach them stuff, but even if you don't, the entertainment is the value for a lot of people. Anyone can talk about tips, but not everyone can entertain.
Yeah, that is true.
So
and it's actually a lot easier than the other stuff. After you learn it, at first it's kind of hard because you're but after you do it, it's literally I wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, so what happened today? Or what happened yesterday? Okay, my kids did something stupid or whatever it is, and then I just write a thing, send it out, and boom, gets reaction.
It's kind of like I've done things where you set a timer. I do a 15-minute timer and just think, all right, let's just bust this out as fast as possible. And some days you end up with a terrible email. Send it out anyway. But it's not terrible. You know what I mean? It's a bit But you can just pick up anything. It's crazy how just pick a random line. I've shown people, I've been at dinner before or something, and just to show someone what I mean, I'll pick a glass on the table and turn that into an email. And then get them to do it too with some random, a fork. And once you sort of get the idea, you can take anything and link it to anything. It's fascinating.
Yeah. And the key, though, is linking it back to your thing. So I've talked about this a couple times, and people are like, I wrote Seinfeld email. They show me. I'm like, all right, well, technically you did, but you never sold it. You have to tie it back to your thing somehow. Telling the story is one thing, but how does that somehow tie back to your thing? And sometimes it's not obvious. Sometimes it's in fact, I've seen even Ben a couple times. It made me laugh because I saw some of his where he's just like, what's that have to do with anything? Nothing, but go buy my thing over here. So if you can't leave anything, you can do that, but you got to bridge the gap somehow and kind of bring it back,
Yeah, I mean, how do you manage this? say with the long-term things, I think because like the email that you mentioned that you got $100,000 off, and that was the first one you sent. I think part of the reason that would have worked so well is because you weren't doing that at the time. So it was very much a pattern interrupt in terms of an email. But once you do it every day or once you do it frequently, I think it starts to lose its effectiveness because people start to expect it. And when people expect it, it doesn't sort of interrupt or break that pattern as successfully. So what sort of, you've got that indoctrination sequence when they first sign up. And then what do you do after that? It sounds like you do the Seinfeld email, but are you doing this every day indefinitely? Or how do you manage it?
In theory, I wish I was as perfect as I wish I was. Like if in a perfect world, I would send out email every single day this way. I haven't been as perfect, but yeah, I mean, basically there's the pattern, but there's different types of things, right? It's not just always like a random story. Sometimes it could be some training or some content or something. And for me, like we roll out new products every month or so. And so my call to action when I'm pushing people is different. So it's always tied into kind of the new thing we're doing. Someone like Ben, I think it's interesting that I've been on his list now for like 3 years, and every day he's pitched the exact same product for 3 years. And I don't know how someone does that, because I think that eventually there's you talk about the pattern thing, but just the nature of this, like because each one, I mean, conceptually they're the same, but the content and the entertainment is different each one. I don't think that there's the pattern thing as much. It's more like what are you pushing, and like I said, for me, it's just because every 2 weeks or so we transition to a new product, a new service, a new kind of thing we're focusing on, a new front end offer we have. It can change for us. You know what I mean?
Okay, so you're rotating an offer every 2 weeks. You change the offer. Whereas Ben Settle, he's got email players running in every single email for years at a time.
I don't know how he does that, but he's crazy focused. I just have too much cool stuff I want to create and put out there in the world. And so for us, if you look at my business, it's kind of interesting. We have tons of front ends, and people are like, you have tons of products, and we do, but like the back end's the same on all of them, right? Like I'm taking everybody in the same direction. I just realized that for me, like people are going to respond to different things on the front. Like they all need the same thing in the back, right? They need my inner circle. Like that's what people need. They don't know that initially. Like they think, oh, I'm in an e-commerce business, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing, like they've got their thing that they think that they, for them, they think their business is different. Like everyone does. Right. And so because of that, we create different front ends to attract different people. Like I've got a front end for people who want to sell high ticket stuff. I got a front end for people who are network marketers. I got a front end for people who are selling info products. We're creating a front end for people who've got supplements. Like so all these front ends, and they're just front ends to kind of introduce an idea and then get somebody into our core backend, which is the same for everything, right? So for me, like my business is the backend. We just have these front ends that attract different people into it. And so for us, like I got my list of 500,000 people, and I have no idea, like, my messaging talking about, information marketing is only relevant to half of them, let's say, right? And the other half are doing physical products. And then I got to transition and talk about my experience with the physical product business. And all of a sudden, those guys all start raising their hand. They come in the door, and we can get all those people into our programs. And we switch it to like a supplement thing. We get people interested in that. And so that's kind of how we run our businesses. Every few weeks, we're changing up the front end just to attract and suck out a different segment of our audience and bring them into our back end programs.
Okay. So the front end might be the different angles, the different types of businesses that you've got. But then at the end of the day, every business owner needs a good mastermind or a good sort of inner circle coaching program. And that's really, like, it doesn't matter what sort of business they have. If they can work with you and the coaches, it doesn't matter. You can just work on any business and you can help them out.
Yep.
That's the idea.
Exactly. And it's the same with any business. Weight loss industry is the same way, right? Some people, and so like your back end coaching is the same, but how many different ways, there are people that want to lose weight, people want to gain weight, people want to, females, males, people post-pregnancy, people pre-pregnancy. Like there's so many different front ends you can attack. Like if I was in the weight loss space, that's what I'd be doing, is I'd be figuring out all the markets I want, and then I create little front ends to attract those people in.
Yeah. So you'd have like a cheap product for like $20, whatever, for each different angle.
Exactly.
And that funnels into the 200, 300, 500, whatever main product, the flagship, how to lose your weight, gain muscle, just the whole does everything for you. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And it works that way in every market. Like how do you splinter out to attract different segments?
Right. And are you doing so when you say you're doing the emails, you have 500,000 people on the list, are you segmenting them out in terms of like saying, these are our info marketer guys because they've come through that funnel, they've clicked on links or something like that? Or are you just sending the daily emails? They just go out to everyone?
So good question. So my initial soap operas are specific to the landing page they came in through. Yep. And after they've come through that, now we just group everybody together, because the reality is the dude who comes in an info thing. He may be interested in info businesses, but he may have a physical product business, right? Or whatever it is. And so I don't know who those people are. And so like, if I'm selling something specific just for info, I can go and mail just that segment. But usually for front end, I'm kind of just casting this net out there and trying to find out who's going to respond. Because like they may be in a network marketing business and they hate it. And so they came through all our network marketing funnels. And so I can sell network marketing stuff, but in the back of their mind, they hate it. And I introduce info marketing or I introduce supplements, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, this is the greatest thing in the world, you know?
Yep.
After they come in the initial thing, then we've got this big pool and we're just casting nets out and trying to grab the segment that we think will be interested.
Yeah. What's interesting about that is so many people like spend, I've had people on this podcast where they go on and on about segmentation, and granted there's reasons, or that there's a good time for it, but I like how your approach here. It's very simple, and bring them in, give them that soap opera sequence that's relevant to in the context of where they came from. But at the end of the day, somebody who's got that supplement business, he might have an e-commerce business too, or an affiliate business like that. So that makes your life, and whoever's managing the list, makes their life so much easier, because you just send an email out to everyone. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have like 10 different lists with otherwise then you'd have to have 10 daily emails. That'd be 10 emails a day for 10 different segments. That would suck.
Yeah. Well, and I fought with that a lot, because that's what people, you hear some people talk about segmentation and only targeting the right person. And I really had a big epiphany. I was out to dinner one night with this guy named Rory Fatt, he's like the guru of the restaurant industry, right? And so I was like trying to figure out, like, I want to make a front end to get all the restaurant people. And I'm talking to him and drilling about his business and trying to figure out, what his audience wants. And he stopped me in the middle. He said, Russell, you know what all my people want? And I said, what? And he said, they want to be out of the restaurant business. And I was like, really? He said, yeah, everyone, like the number one thing that they want to do when they start a business, like if you survey the world, they all want to start their own restaurant. As soon as they start it, they hate it and they want out. He's like, so for me, helping them figure out other ways to make money outside and get them out of the restaurant industry is what all of them want now. And I was like that epiphany of like, wow, like that's, who knows what people want? Like, who are we to say? And I think we can segment and target things so specifically. We're speaking perfectly, but maybe we're not. Maybe we're completely off, because they may be in that situation, but they don't want that situation,
Yeah, it's kind of hard. Like segmentation almost implies, or it sort of sets it up to think that people are black and white, and they're just not.
Yeah.
Like so, and I think it's sort of falling into trouble when you start treating a list like that, where it's a bit more of a dynamic relationship. They're not just numbers, or people on a in a database with a little tag next to them. These are people with varied interests.
Yeah, and people will buy. There are things that people will buy everything you got. Like
some people,
that's what I mean. Like that's the other interesting thing is if you've got 4 or 5 things, they'll keep buying them. And so why hold those things back from them and not show it to them because they didn't fit the profile or the segment? I think that let them raise their hand, let them figure out. And I won't go deeper on this topic unless they've opted in. You know what I mean? Like if you look at our business, most of our front ends are like free plus shipping type things, right? Our .com Secrets Labs book that you got, our 108 split tests, that was bait that we created to attract people who already have websites that are interested in testing, because that's a segment of our audience that, in fact, that just so you know, like that bait that we created has created more people in our inner circle than anything else we've ever done. We don't have as many leads from it because it repels the person who doesn't have a business yet, and the person who does have a business, it attracts them like crazy. And so we don't get as many leads from that, but the leads that come through are like gold for me, right? And so most of my friends are free plus shipping. So we just, we're mailing the list like, hey, there's this cool new idea. It's free plus shipping. Go check it out. And now they're segmenting themselves from our entire pool. They segment themselves. If they buy that, now they're in the funnel that we send them up that value at.
So you saying, I can't remember it now because it was probably a month or two ago now, but when I bought the split testing book, you're saying that I would have been up for like a soap opera sequence of, I don't know, a week or two on, who is Russell Brunson, all that sort of stuff. And then I would have started, I remember finding the insider circle, the inner circle emails at some point. So that was when I got onto the main list.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Very sneaky, isn't it?
I like how it's so simple. So you got like these different like free front. So you got the free opt-in pages, and then you go to the front end, like free product with pay for shipping, and then you've got the inner circle. It's a very simple business structure.
Yeah, it's easy, and nice is it makes it easy because all the back end, the middle level products and the back end are all the same. And so all I've got to do is I got to create new free plus shipping things to test different markets. And I look at it as bait. It's who do I want to attract, create some bait for that, throw it out there, bring a new group. But yes, it's way simple. So you create the free plus shipping thing. We write our soap opera sequence, send it out, start driving leads in, and then they start adding a whole new stream of leads and traffic into our funnel. And like I said, after that, after their 3 to 5 day soap opera sequence, they drop into our daily broadcasts, and now they're in the gauntlet to find out what other offers they can raise their hand for.
I'm curious, man. Why do the free product with shipping instead of say, like, why not just give them a PDF or an ebook or a video? Why do you send it out?
2 reasons. Number one is there's so much free stuff on the internet. Like it's not interesting. Like, hey, here's a free PDF. You're like, all right, sweet. I got a billion PDFs I've never opened, right? But a free book or a free CD or free DVD is like, it's this cool thing, right? Second off, so you ordered the book a month ago, right?
Yeah, a month or two, I guess, something like that.
So is it sitting on your desk that you work at?
Yeah, it's got the glossy magazine. Yeah, it's right next to me. I'll grab it.
Yeah, see, what's interesting is I want that thing on the desktop of every single person in my market.
I've shown
so every
I've had
day
people over here, and I give it to them and say, check out this book I got from Russell Brunson. It's like glossy and like nice. It feels like a proper magazine. That, like, I mean, it feels like a magazine you'd find in a newsagent's.
And people people are like, yeah, this is in my bathroom. I read it every day. This is on my desk. I look at it every day. Every time I start a website, I open it up. Like, that's what I want. I want my name in front of their face all the time. And if it's a PDF, it disappears. Yeah. If it's a physical thing, you get the mailman delivering it. They get that euphoria of like, oh, this cool thing I got. They put it on their desk. They show their friends. Yeah. It changes the relationship. And so I'm big on that. And just the fact that by saying it's free, our conversions shoot up. By having them pay shipping, it qualifies the buyers. Because PDF, you get all these people from India who have no money who will opt in and download it, right? Like half our list is probably people in the Philippines who make $20 a year, right? So it's like that's hard you can't sell those people things, right?
Right.
But with free plus shipping, they got to pull a credit card out of their wallet. They got to type in the digits and they got to click submit. So now I know those people are actual buyers, and it just changes. Now that I know they're buyers, I can change how I market to those people.
Right. I'm curious too. Like I know that if someone might be listening to this thinking, well, that's a cool idea, but I just don't have the resources to create a glossy, 200-page magazine. How does like a layman go and take a PDF that they've got and they've been giving it away to people? How do they take that and turn that into a glossy magazine and have that sent out and do it sort of automatically, so they're not actually
there's actually a really easy way. So what we use is so again with .com Secrets Labs, that book you got, like obviously we went over the top on that. But most of our students that we teach this process to, we show them to do either CD or DVD. Even if it's a PDF, like put it on the CD and tell people it's too controversial for the internet and you don't want it getting linked. So it's got to be on this magic CD, right?
Yep. And
then we use a company called Disc Delivered. If you go to discdelivered.com, I think it's like $50 to sign up. And then if you put in a coupon code .com Secrets, which is my company name, they knock off 50%, which is kind of cool. And then they will send you like the artwork for the DVD, and you just design that, send it back to them. You record your CD or your DVD or PDF, and then you mail them a physical copy of the CD, and then they'll do print on demand for you. And it connects to most shopping carts. So somebody orders it, and then they just ship out the DVD for you. And like I said, it's print on demand, so there's no it doesn't cost you anything until something gets sold. And so that's what we do. In fact, we got probably 5 or 6 of our front ends are just through Disc Delivered because it's so easy to set up, and it doesn't cost us any money up front.
Nice, cool. All right. I think we're right on time, man.
It's a fast, easy way to it's like a fast, easy way to just kind of test the market, right? Throw up a CD, put it in Disc Delivered, send it out, see what happens. If it doesn't work, move on.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. We're right on time. We're right on 30 minutes, so we didn't run out of stuff to talk about.
Very cool. I was hoping I wouldn't bore you guys, so you got some good stuff.
This has been good, man. This has been fun. Before we go, if someone wants to learn more about you, sign up to one of the front ends, or maybe go and check out the Inner Circle, where's the best place for them to do that? Yeah,
I would say the best thing is our main website's .comsecrets.com. And that's got our blog and our links to all our products and stuff like that, and our Inner Circle. The other thing is that we just rolled out a new software program that I recommend everyone checking out. It builds sales funnels called ClickFunnels.com. Depending when you're listening to this, we did a beta launch last month, and then we closed it back down. And in about 2 weeks, we're reopening it. But it's software that I literally think will change the market. Yesterday I built a 12 sales funnel that typically would have taken me, a programmer and designer, probably 3 to 4 weeks to design and get done. I built the entire thing in 2 hours, as well as a membership site. It will change our entire industry for everyone. It has for me already. I'm firing my entire team. It's pretty awesome. So that's at clickfunnels.com. Check it out, get a free trial, and go play there.
Cool. I saw that a couple weeks ago. Stumbled upon that from an ad, I think, and it looks slick. I haven't tried it out yet, though.
You will love it, and it'll change everything for you.
And you're still selling the 108 proof of split test, right?
Yep. If you go to .comsecretslabs.com, they can go pick that up for free and just cover the shipping.
Get it shipped out, get on that list of deals. That sounds good, man. Well, thank you. Thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
No worries. I appreciate you having me. It was a lot of fun.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening. If you want to discover more insider tips, tricks, and secrets about driving sales with email marketing, sign up for daily email tips from the autoresponder guy.
Go to dropdeadcopy.com/podcast, sign up, confirm your email address, and I'll send you daily emails on how to improve your email marketing and make more sales via email. You'll find out why open rates don't matter and the 7-letter word that underlies all effective marketing and much more.